Hey y'all, Florida Boy here. Good morning. I want to take a couple minutes and talk about van dwelling and full-time RV living. The first thing I want to say is that I support that lifestyle and I respect anybody out there chasing their dream. Well, let me rephrase that. I respect most of the people that are out there doing it. There's one or two out there that I don't have any respect for, but not for that reason, and I won't even really get into that. But the point I want to make is that it does work for some people, and it works very well for some people, but it doesn't work for everybody. One size doesn't fit all. And I think it's important for anybody considering to do that is that they take a deeper look into it before they jump in. And what I mean by that is, yes, you gain some freedom by doing that, whether you're full-time RVing or van dwelling, happily houseless, less stuff, more freedom. Yes, I get that. But on the other hand, you also have to consider that you lose some freedoms on the other side. And I'll use myself as an example. I enjoy my home and my family and friends and things like that. I have a little shop. I love to tinker in a shop. I love to work with my hands and fabricate and do those things. And that's something that I really can't do if I'm living in an RV full time or van dwelling, at least on the same scale or the same level that I do it now. So there's also other things to be considered as well. And I just don't want to see anybody jump into this lifestyle thinking that everything's free, because in the real world it just doesn't work like that. I mean, you've still got to maintain your vehicle. If you don't maintain it, it's going to break down. It costs money to maintain it. It costs money if it breaks down. Tires are expensive. Fuel is expensive. You have to eat. So nothing's free. So if you don't have an income or a way to produce an income, it's going to be burdensome. And even at that, and I'll give you a quick example. I see a lot of these people that, unless you're parking in Walmart parking lots every night, which I don't have anything against that, again, if that works for you. But a lot of people boondocking, it's not all that easy. And I see a lot of people, they're nervous, they're looking over their shoulder, and that seems somewhat burdensome to me. Obviously, some places in the country, it's a lot more conducive to boondocking. There's places in the United States that it's very difficult to boondock. And I see a lot of these people that are out there doing it, and if they're honest with themselves, I think they'd come out and tell you, listen, you know what, it's not all it's cracked up to be. Yes, you gain some freedoms on one side, but you also lose some freedoms on the other side. And that's kind of all I'm saying. I just don't want to see anybody so envious of that lifestyle that they jump into it without having a complete understanding of what it's going to take to do it. And again, I'm going to do that. I'm quite a few years out from retirement, but it's coming around the bend, and I'm going to do it. But I'm going to do it on a limited basis. I may go out for 2 or 3 weeks, possibly even a couple months at a time, but I'll always need that home base. I'll always want that home base because it gives me freedoms. Now, you have to write out that big check every month to pay the mortgage, and even if you're fortunate enough to pay your mortgage off, you still have to pay property taxes. You still have to maintain the dwelling. So there's cost associated with everything, and that's just a part of life. I mean, unless you're living off the grid full time, and I don't necessarily think that's a bad thing either. In fact, perhaps maybe in the future I'll do a quick video on that. I think that can work if you're set up for it. But again, you gain some freedoms, but you lose some freedoms, and that's really, if there was one point to this, that's really kind of what I'm trying to say. I just don't want people to think that the lifestyle is all that it's cracked up to be. Again, some people it works really good. It works really good for them, but again, it doesn't work for everybody, and you have to take these things into consideration if you're going to do that. You take an intelligent approach for it. You think it through, and again, if anyone out there is thinking about doing that or has the desire to do that, I would caution them, and I would also suggest that maybe you do it on a limited basis first to get an idea and see if that works for you. You know, this could be a dream that you've had your whole life, and you're to the point that you're going to do it, and you're going to sell your home, and you're going to buy an RV or a van and go out, and many people enjoy that, and many people are successful, but there's also people that it just doesn't work for. They get into it and they realize, wow, you know what, it's not all what it's cracked up to be. It has its set of problems, and it has its set of burdens. So that's really all that I'm saying. I mean, you know, you just have to kind of look at it and take an intelligent approach. And you know, we see people out there doing it. I'll give you another quick example. There's this one kid or one young gentleman. I'm sorry, I can't remember his name, but he's living in his van, and to me he seems very burdened. In fact, on one of the videos, his van was parked in a neighborhood, and he was walking home. I think it was from the grocery store. I don't remember where, but these guys were harassing him pretty good, you know, calling him a child molester because his van was parked in the neighborhood, and they were beating on his van, and they wanted to kick his ass, but he called the cops and he got out of a bad situation. So that's not very glamorous to me. It's not very peaceful. It's burdensome, and of course it's not something that we can assume happens all the time, but you know, you have to take these things into consideration. You can't just jump in a van or jump in an RV full time and think that life is going to be bliss. It comes with another set of issues, with another set of burdens. Although again, it's a trade-off. You don't have to write that big check as a mortgage. You don't. Some people are living in the concrete jungle. Listen, I get that. I understand that. There's nothing to me more beautiful or peaceful than being out in the country, and that's one of the reasons that I bought an RV, and one of the reasons that I enjoy camping. And you know, I like that lifestyle, and I encourage people to do it. But I hope that some of y'all that are living full time in a van or an RV, maybe will chime in and make a comment and be honest with me and everybody else and yourself that it does come with some issues. That there's no lifestyle, as far as I know, that doesn't come with some burdens and some responsibilities. So that's really all I'm trying to say. You know, I really do like that lifestyle. I like the RV community, the van dwelling, and I respect most of the people in the community and the people that are doing that, and the people that are chasing their dreams. That's great, and there are some options. You know, everybody doesn't have to live in suburbia. Everybody doesn't have to have, you know, the house with the picket fence and the 2.5 kids and all that. It doesn't work for everybody. But the same is true for van dwelling and full-time RV living. It doesn't work for everybody. And you may not know until you do it. And that's why I caution people, if you think you want to do that lifestyle, to maybe do it on a limited basis and make sure it's something that works for you and something that you do enjoy before you go all in, before you lay all the cards in, because you might get caught on it. You know, you might get out there and go, oh shit, there is some burden here, and there is some things that I don't really enjoy about this lifestyle. And I hate to see anybody do that, make that full commitment, and then come to the realization, especially if you're one of those people that have lived your whole life thinking about, man, I just can't wait to get out there and experience all the wonderful things that this country has to offer. And again, I'm one of those people, but you know, I guess I'm fortunate in that sense. You know, I'll have a home base. I'll always have a home base. I want a home base, but I also want the freedom to go out. But I want to do it on my terms. I want to do it when I want to do it, how I want to do it, and know that I don't have to rely on anybody else to take care of me or support me or any of that kind of crazy stuff. You know, I'm going to pay my own way. I've worked hard and made good decisions financially, and although I'm not independently wealthy by any stretch of the imagination, I'm just a working class guy, but I've worked hard and I've made pretty good decisions. And now, when I do retire, or at least semi-retire, it's now I have some freedoms that I didn't have before, and I'm very much looking forward to that. And I'm very much looking forward to experience all the wonderful things that this country has to offer and going to different places. I never feel as good as I do when I'm out in the country. There's just something about that fresh air and being outside and fishing and hunting and doing all those wonderful things. That's how I believe it's really supposed to be. I could never live in that concrete jungle. I need a balance, and so that's kind of what I'm saying. Again, I don't want to keep repeating myself or beating a dead horse in that sense, but I just want people to understand that it's probably not as glamorous, and I don't even know if glamorous is the right word, but I don't think it's cracked up to be all that it's portrayed to be at times. I think most people out there that are van dwelling or living full time in RV, if they're doing videos, they're showing you the cool stuff, and gosh, why wouldn't you? You know, and it's very attractive and it's very romantic, but at the same time, you know, there's some things that may very well burden you. For me, you know, if I didn't know where I was sleeping at night, or I had to park in a Walmart every night, or look over my shoulder because I was boondocking somewhere, it's stressful, it's burdensome, and you know, that doesn't work for me. So again, best case scenario, at least for me and for many others, you know, I can do it on my terms. I can do it on a limited basis. But listen, I also understand that a lot of people don't have that option, and I get that, and I'm not belittling anybody because they're living full-time in an RV or living in a van. Some people have to do that because they just don't have any options, and I get that, and I understand that, and those are the kind of people that are making the best of it. But again, I think people should just have a realistic expectation about what that whole lifestyle is about, and don't necessarily get their views or opinions clouded by people that are doing it successfully, because it doesn't work for everybody. One size doesn't fit all. You know, you have to experience it, and you know, hopefully, if that's your dream and it works for you, that's awesome. God bless you. But again, I caution everybody to just don't get caught up in it and think that you lose all of your burdens and gain 100% freedom. I don't believe that's true, and hopefully, again, some of you that are all doing it, maybe you'll chime in and let people know there are things to be considered, and you know, that's kind of all I'm saying. All right, y'all, I appreciate it. Y'all have a good day. Peace.